So we're going to start with our first session, which is a panel discussion exploring how Jainism, asceticism inspires us all to save the planet. This is something we all talk about a lot now. When we talk about the environmental challenges facing us and the world. Our first panelist is Dr. Pratibha Pragyaji, a Shamniji who has been a well-known face in our community for a very, very long time. Shamniji has a particularly personal space here. She did her PhD here, and so feels very much at home in this place. A senior disciple of Acharya Mahamuni, the spiritual head of the Jain Vishwabharati movement and World Peace Center here in London. And if any of you have not visited the center, it's in Harrow, please do take time and visit. Her PhD thesis was centered around the history and methods of Preksha meditation, and she's also a research associate here at SOAS. So we're going to start the session now. Joining Shamniji today is Shamniji Punya Pragyaji, who also has become a very familiar face to all of us here in London and beyond. She's also a disciple of Acharya Mahamuni. Her educational qualifications include an MA in Prakrit and an MA in English Literature. Served as a principal and director of Mahapragya International School in Tamkor, Rajasthan, for a decade and has traveled widely across the globe spreading the messages of peace, non-violence, and Jain Dharma. Chairing our panel today is Shruti Malde. Shruti Ben received a master's in Indian religion, majoring in Jainism from SOAS. She has also been a member of the Institute of Jainology's education team since 2007. She has regularly presented at Jain institutions and interfaith events such as this. Shruti is also a retired specialist hospital optometrist. Please join us in welcoming them on stage.
Good morning and welcome to everyone. Thank you for the kind introduction, Prof. Laben and Yashpai. And as mentioned, the topic for this session is what can the vows taken by Jain ascetics teach us about saving the planet? We are witnessing the destruction of our planet with environmental crises like climate change, heat waves, droughts, flooding, storms, decrease in crop yields, extinction of certain animal species, etc. Because modern lifestyle is taking giant steps towards consumerism, which encourages people to believe that having more material things is the way to happiness, and acquisition and greed is a virtue rather than an evil. Consumerism and greed are in every aspect of our lives, such as the use of disposable things, not repairing but replacing, buying excessively or quickly updating to keep up with latest model of fashion, be it cars, clothes, utensils, equipment for the office, home or entertainment, mobiles, and the list goes on. In the production and disposal of these consumer items, we are putting a great strain on our ecosystem. It is affecting our planet's soil, air, water, vegetation, temperature, plant and animal species. We are fortunate to have our two resident Samnijis in London, Dr. Pratibha Pragya and Punya Pragyaji, to discuss how the vows taken by the Jain ascetics teach us about saving the planet. The Samnijis are Jain nuns, but with a difference. So, Samniji, can you tell us about your vows? And can you explain the difference between sadhu, sadhvi, shravak, shravika, that is the lay people, and the samani order?
Sure, Shruti. But with this discussion, it would be better we have a small video clip, and if we see that, and then if I can explain, then it would be very clear to our audience and to all of us. Thank you.
Play the
Jain Samanis, a movement for universal non-violence, peace and unity. Jainism is a world religion founded by Lord Rishabdev, and contemporary Jainism follows the pronouncements of Lord Mahavir, the 24th Tirthankar. Jainism is about a right code of conduct, which includes 5 vratas, 5 samitis, and 3 guptis. The Jain congregate is a fourfold order comprising of Shravaks, Shravikas, Sadhus, and Sadhvis. The Tera Panth order comprises of 1 Acharya, 1 Yuvacharya, 1 Sadhvi Pramukha, and 1 Mukhya Niyojika for Samanis. The Sadhvis lead a life of total renunciation. Whether it is freezing cold or scorching heat conditions, stony or thorny roads, they always walk barefoot and do not use any other mode of transportation. These nuns do not take food or water after sunset or before sunrise, and in fact, they neither cook their own food nor get it prepared by someone else. They go to different householders and receive a little food from each house. This practice is called Gochari. Completely detached from the materialistic and worldly activities, these sadhvis spend their time in the spiritual upliftment of their souls and in guiding the householders. However, for Jains living abroad and considering the changing times, the late 9th Acharya Tulsi, together with his Yuvacharya Mahapragya in 1980, established a new order to fulfill the need for a third category between monks and householders, a new category of Samans and Samanis. Samans and Samanis follow the same lifestyle of Jain sadhus and sadhvis. However, with a few exceptions. They can use different means of transportation, and they are allowed to consume food that is prepared for them. According to Acharya Tulsi, the concept of Samani nunhood is nothing but Jain sannyas of the 21st century. And this revolutionary idea was conceived so that Samans and Samanis could travel far and wide and propagate the values of Jainism throughout the world. Jain Samanis, a new nunhood concept for a new world order.
Thank you, Samriji. That explains quite briefly. Do you want to add anything?
Yes, just the key concepts. Mahabrat. So there are 5 Mahabratas, and Jain monks and nuns, for lifelong, they follow the 5 great vows. And these are Mahabrat because there is no exceptional rules. They have to follow staunchly. And then Samanis are in the middle categories. So we have Vratas, and then Shravak and Shravikas, they follow small vows, Anuvratas, and there are altogether 12 vows. So Jain is known as a philosophy and as well as a lifestyle. So in Jain's lifestyle, we can see restriction is always there, and restriction is not just to restrict, it is for save the planet. Even Jain householders' life is also good, but they have a lighthouse in front of them, and that is Mahabrati, Sadhu and Sadhvis.
Thank you, Samriji. So the emphasis is Jainism is a practical religion, not just a philosophy. We all need to put that into practice.
Yes, applied philosophy.
Applied philosophy. Thank you. So, in fact, you prepared the clip. The actual clip is 9.5 minutes. If you want to watch all of it, you can access it on YouTube. The title is Jain Nuns and Samni. So if you want to, you can watch it on YouTube. But from the clip, we see that it was Acharya Tulsi's foresight to create the Saman and Samni order in 1980. And obviously, we are very fortunate that you can travel and you're here to give us teaching and guidance. So, first of all, Samiji, why did you choose this path?
This is a difficult question, but very easy for me. The first thing I can say, the inner call. You all have something, some dreams and desire. And similarly, I had too. So my call started at the age of 18. And then 2 years I stayed at home. My family, when they convinced, then they permit me. And Acharya Tulsi, he said, no initiation without education. I'm coming from a small village, nearly 6,000-7,000 people's small village, but the small village where Acharya Mahapragya born. But we had no high school there at my time. So I just passed my middle class. So the second inspiration for me, education. I always loved education. And I always loved simplicity. So these 3 pillars became my motto, and always loved to give back to society. So this 4th pillar is also for the reason of my initiation in Samnihood.
Thank you, Samniji. That's a very noble motive to educate yourself and others on the Jain philosophy about compassion and good lifestyle. Okay, so the austere ascetic conduct is based on that of Lord Mahavir, as described in the Acharya Sutra. In the short video clip we saw earlier, we learned a little about Sadhu Gochari, how they travel on foot. So we saw a few aspects of Sadhu's life. But today, Samriji, we will try and get an insight into your lives in London. Because of the vows and restriction, what are you allowed to eat and drink, your clothes and traveling, and compared to our practice as lay people, and how your practice helps to protect subtle lives and our environment. So, Samniji, let's talk about your food and utensils. We as lay people desire tasty and variety of cuisines, and even feel like eating in restaurants. Do you have such cravings? I understand you have to accept whatever is cooked for you. Now, I know Samni Punya Pragya has a beautiful voice. Would you like to express that in your way?
Sure. There is beautiful song composed by Acharya Tulsi about Gochari. मधुकर रे जो घर घर फिर संत गोचरे साधे शुद्धा शुद्ध विवेक राख कर माता मन आराधे जी मुनि संयम राता तीजे तो माता समिति ऐषणा. Like this.
Beautiful. Thank you, Punya ji. As you know, 5 Mahabharatas, then 5 Samitis. Without grooming, nothing grows. Grooming is very important. As you see, she said, a particular terminology, madhukari, madhukar. So normally Jain monks and nuns not order, not go to restaurant, and even they don't say to anybody, just the householder prepare food and they go door to door and collect food like a bumblebee. So madhukari. So collecting foods from somewhere, they collect food, rice, then dal, then chapati, then fruits, vegetable, which are achit.
So the whole meal doesn't come from one family.
No.
There are bits of your meal coming from different families.
Yes, for monks and nuns. But, this new category, Acharya Tulsi thought, if they stay in abroad, then it is very difficult to go door to door. Might 3-4 miles there is no house. And therefore, we have a system. Over here we have gochari, but people brought to us. And one family each day freshly cooked, simple food. And in a way, simple means we are not saying, okay, prepare pizza, prepare pasta, prepare this drink or this dessert. No, like normal food, roti, shak, dal, chawal,
Whatever
salad.
they're cooking for
Yeah, and normally they cooking for the family, but we tell them we are not using underground, underroot vegetables, root vegetables, and some other tag in our life. So we inform them ahead. And there is a group, a Gochari group, which is already done by Hina Bora. So whoever want to give Gochari to Samniji, they contacted her. So it is a very simple
So
way.
it is daily. Is there any wastage?
No, not at all. The planet and the humanity is facing the crisis of food. And lot more wastage. For monks and nuns' life, we are not allowed to throw a single grain, single part of our food. And for that, we take as much as we can eat. We are not allowed, monks and nuns, evening they dry their patras and they put inside. So nothing for the next day.
Okay. So what about, you mentioned patras. Can you tell us a little bit about your patras?
Yes.
Yes, can you tell us a little bit about your patras?
Yeah. You have plates, cups, and dinner sets. And again, whenever you go to shopping, and if there is something on the sale, then you think, oh, this dinner set I need, I have, and my friend have. So like this, things in your mind, in householder's mind. But we have a restriction, and which is self-restricted restriction. So anybody is interested, there is upstairs exhibition. There you can see Sthanakvasi Patra, Deravasi Patra, Terapanthi Patra, Samniji's Patra, as well as, I would like to add, Digambar monks. They take food in their hands. They have no patra, but their kamandalu is upstairs in exhibition. So don't forget. So we strictly have wooden pots, and we have porcelain pots as well.
No metal.
No metal.
Because?
Okay, no metal, metal first process digging out raw material, then fire, and then lot more fire, lot more water. So, lot more violence in creating all these things. So, yeah, lot of hinsa. And it is not good to save the planet. So therefore, all monks and nuns, in most of the traditions, specifically in Jainism, they follow the rules of the wooden patras.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. So I think Gochari is such a good analogy, about grazing, just using small, putting very small strain on each patch, not making it dry.
Yeah.
And I think we, as, community, we should consume like, as Gochari, not put a strain on our planet in whatever we consume, because the planet has enough for our needs, but not for our greed. I think
Very
that's a
true.
quotation by
Very true.
Mahatma Gandhi. Let's move on to clothing, because I have a few questions and the time is
Yes.
short. Regarding clothing, we have a wardrobe full of clothes, for different occasions and seasons. But Swamiji, I always see you wear the same uniform. And can you tell us a bit about, how many dresses you have and its utility?
Oh, we have two full sets of the dresses, and we use, and we are not allowed to throw, okay, there is some new person and someone is giving, offering us. We have rules, like one thing is torn, then we amend. And after that, we feel there is no use, we can't wear, then we put in the pieces and we use in the mopping and cleaning. So we try to use at least at its last.
So nothing is wasted.
Nothing is wasted.
And I understand you need permission to
yeah.
get anything new.
Yes. And every year, whatever we have taken from the community, we have to make a list. We have to present Gurudev. We have taken this much pots, patras, this much clothing, this much medicine, everything in written. And if there is any excursion of the rule, then there is atonement.
Okay, thank you. And even washing, you do?
Yeah, we do weekly washing. And the small clothes we do after 2 days.
Hand wash, not
Yes, hand wash.
Hand wash.
Yes.
Okay, so less use of detergents as well.
Yeah, less water is used. Water is again a crisis. So saving this planet, all environment is very important, either water, or the earth, or the plantation, everything.
Okay, thank you. So minimum use. We'll just go a little bit about your traveling. Like we have several cars and we do not think twice about flying, going on for vacation. So our carbon footprint is overwhelming. Can you tell us, obviously you traveled here and in London you will use cars or underground, but, what reasons you will travel for if you have to travel?
Yes, there is very important term, dharma yatra. We don't, there is something, here is something, you just go everywhere. No, we have our journey, and each and every journey there is a purpose, and therefore whenever we go out, in our canonical terminology, avassayi, I'm going for some reason, and that is avashyak for my dharma yatra or avashyak for my community's dharma yatra.
Okay, it's more for dharma yatra. I've just had a signal there, it's 5 minutes. I can ask one question and then one for, okay, so this last question was on bedding, which I think Punya Pragyaji has a beautiful expression, song. Can you just describe it for us? Thank you.
One more song about sleeping bed. Jami bina jokhim re shaiya करतल करे सिराणु वनिता विरति प्रसंग रंग में पढ़े मुनि महाराणो रे आरा सागरे संत सुखी इस संसार में निज आत्म उजागर संत सुखी इस संसार में.
Very quickly, it was, I hear you have very simple bedding equipment. When you explained that, also I heard that although you are asleep, your Atma is awake. Can you explain a little bit?
Yeah, in Acharang Sutra, this is the first Jain canon, and there Sutta Amunino Munina Sayam Jagaranti. And same sort of anecdote in Gita that soul which is always awake. So Muni is apramadi, and always Muni sleep on the floor with a cardboard and with a lunkar, which is a woolen blanket.
What you do as well here.
Yes, and anybody is interested how monks and nuns can sleep. Upstairs there is an exhibition and our bedding is also ready there. So, we have limited sources of the bedding, and if there is any health reason, then we have to take prior permission from the Gurudev. Okay, I have to use some plank or extra things. Normally, we sleep on the floor, and as beautifully sung, Muni is like a Maharaja because whole earth is there. On the bed, you have limitation, but on the earth, it is for.
Thank you, Samriji. So just a very quick, small insight into your lives. And we can see that we should all follow the footsteps of Jain Ascetics to reduce our carbon footprint by taking some resolutions to reduce what we consume and living a life of simplicity and minimalism, as you've said. This is a key to saving our planet, and also we should try to control, train ourselves to control our desires, because happiness is not outside in material objects, but it is within.
Very true.
So we will now, we have a little bit of time for questions from the audience.
Yash has a roving mic, so if anyone has a question, please put your hand up and he'll come to you with the mic.
What place does worship take in your life?
Yeah, in Jain congregations, there is temples, derasar, and there is some sects. They don't go for the worship of the image, but they do bhava puja, means in meditation, in chanting, or reading the books. That is also a part of worship. And those who follow the image worship, iconic traditions, and they have the art effect and images and murtis of the Bhagavan, 24 Tirthankaras and their guardian deities. So here in London, beautiful derasar in Portus Bar and Mahavir Foundation in Canton, and one derasar in Harrow, Wilts. So Digambar, Shwetambar, and many more derasars are there. And I think 6-7 derasar in London.
Are you asking? I know for lay people, place of worship is very important, but for the ascetics, is that essential? Is that also what you want to know?
Well, it was about
at the O level, at the
Yes.
Samni level.
Yes. So it differs tradition to tradition, but there are two traditions, Deravasi and Sthanakvasi, Terapanthi. So image worshipper and non-image worshipper, both. But they have the halls for prayers and meditations and swadhyaya.
But also you will go to conduct for the ladies.
Yes.
They will be attending, yes.
We are open. We don't mind if there is a Deravasi and they have their image worship or their puja. We go there, we do discourses, mantra sessions, and all this. Yes.
Thank you so much. We might just have time for one question to squeeze it in. Okay, I'm going to pass it there, just because I know.
Thank you, and Jai Jinendra to all. At one point, the show anchor gave a clap at one of the points that you mentioned, and she may have wondered that there was no clap in return or applause in return. In JVB, we applause in a slightly different way. Instead of clapping, I'd like the Samniji to explain why is that and how we do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Yogesh.
Yeah, Len, if you like, and if you say Om Arham, so we say like a flower. Okay, so this is good exercise for hand, and flower is always attracting to each other and giving more positive energy. So this is making yourself a flower. Okay.
But there might be another reason.
Yes, and the concept of air-bodied living beings, and when you clap, then might be there is a bit of air-bodied violence, and therefore it is a traditional difference.
Thank you so much. And on that note, can we have a big round of applause for our Samnijis and for Shruti
Oh,
Mane
madam.
in the JVB way, to thank them for their time and inspiration. Personally, for me, I guess even if we went back home with one tip from what they've shared, I'm sure we can all do our bit to save the planet.